welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Of course, we are here inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Heritage Hill coming to you in the country and in the city life, and right where you are in central and upstate New York. So you can head out to 3149 Sweet Road in Pompey and enjoy the Heritage Hill Brew House on Palladino Farms. Fantastic venue, great place for so many different things, for anniversary parties as well as graduations, weddings, and so on and so forth. And of course, they have the animals there to pet. They have the hammocks. They have indoor and outdoor seating. They got a little basketball court going on, and the scenic view is just absolutely beautiful to walk the grounds. So make sure you head out to Heritage Hill Brew House and enjoy what it's like to not only support local, but to get to be a part of nature and see things that are just absolutely amazing that go on as far as the eye can see and beyond that. And then, of course, their newest location at Heritage Hill North, which is right by so many of us: Liverpool, East Syracuse, North Syracuse, Cicero, Clay, Baldwinsville, the city of Syracuse, Syracuse Hancock International Airport, centrally located right there at Sweetheart Corner on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse. We look forward to seeing you at Heritage Hill North as well. With that being said, inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin', we have a fantastic show set up for you today. In hour number one, I will be joined by Mya Jackson. Mya joining me here as we have the opportunity to share her incredible journey and awesome story of getting to Moyne and becoming an assistant coach with Nick DiPillo's new staff here in this new era of Moyne Dolphins women's basketball. Nick DiPillo becoming the head coach and keeping Katie Kalinske. You heard from Nick DiPillo in multiple exclusives here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of Dolphin Dive. You've heard from Katie Kalinske and her exclusive. You've heard from new assistant coach Casey Filio and her exclusive. And now we finish up the coaching staff with Mya's exclusive today, telling her story and how she got to the heights at Moyne College. So that's coming up here in hour number one in our multimedia marketing partnership with Moyne College, featuring Mya Jackson in this edition of Dolphin Dive. In hour number two, my good buddy and sports and entertainment veteran Jason Lucas joins the show to speak on God, faith, this country, where we are, where we can go, and we'll also bring it on back to sports, where sports meets life, which is what we do here on Wake Up Call, speaking on the NFL and college football starting very soon, believe it or not. So we'll get into all of that here. Mya in hour one, Jason in hour two. We'll take a step aside inside the Heritage Hill Studios for the Dolphin Dive exclusive special with Mya Jackson coming up right after this. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the taste of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here. here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. And welcome here to a very special edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you inside of the Heritage Hill Studios in this edition of the Dolphin Dive inside of Wake Up Call in our multimedia marketing partnership with Moyne College, exclusive to Wake Up Call and Moyne in this partnership together. Mya Jackson is here with me picture in picture, and I am very excited about the opportunity to tell her story, share her story, here as a new addition to Nick DiPillo's Moyne women's basketball staff. I find that when you're speaking on anyone or telling a story about anybody, it is so great to have them be the voice of their own story. And so Mya being here with me today is for her to tell you about her journey to where she is on the heights at Moyne now, and to obviously have some fun here this morning in this edition of the Dolphin Dive. So with that being said, Mya, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm doing very well. And you and I were talking off the air about the fact that you are coming to Moyne straight off of your playing days. So you're making that immediate jump here into the coaching world from being a student athlete. What made you want to do that as opposed to maybe, looking at playing overseas or continuing your playing career? Why did you want to make that immediate jump into the coaching world?
Yeah, so I was blessed to be able to get my master's degree in 5 years at Cincinnati. And so after I just finished playing, I've always known that I wanted to be a coach. For me, my body isn't really allowing me to play too much longer. But I think that this is going to be a great opportunity and a great challenge for me. And just, again, I love helping people. I love the game of basketball. I'm very passionate about it, and like I said, I've always known I wanted to be a coach. My dad's a coach. I've been around sports my whole life, and this is just going to be a phenomenal opportunity.
And let's give Dad a shout out and just to share with everybody who doesn't know Dad's first name as well as what you've seen from him in coaching.
Yeah, so my dad's name is Will, and I look up to him a lot because he coaches young men, and he's just a great role model, a great mentor to them. He's a person that cares about them as people first, and he shows that to them every single day, and when they get on because he coaches football, so when they get on the football field, he's able to, get after them, be tough, but also show them that love. And I just love the balance that he shows his players and is able, again, to be like a father figure to them and just help them in life just as much as he does in football.
And you said that, obviously watching him growing up and seeing him coach has meant something to you. What are the foundational pieces, those pillars, so to speak, that you can see in the way that your dad speaks with his team that you can bring into your coaching? Is there anything that you said like this is something that he focuses on, or something that he says that I really feel like can transcend any sport?
Yeah, so he focuses a lot on accountability, trust, and hard work. I think those are the three things. And so when you have that within a coach, within a program, within a player, it just creates a phenomenal environment for everybody. He always says, what is it? What's the saying? Talent, no, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? And so I think for him, it's a lot of I'm going to push my players to be the best version of themselves, pull out of them what they feel that they don't even have left in them, and then turn that into something like, wow, I can do this, and build their confidence. So that's what I'm looking to bring to Lemoyne.
Yeah, and like you said, that hard work beats talent, right? That effort that you put in. And there's a lot to be said about that. And you can see it throughout sports. And people that were written off before they even had an opportunity to show themselves, and then those people are champions today. It
Right.
makes me think about, you talk about your dad coaching football, and I think about Tom Brady, backup quarterback at Michigan, sixth round compensatory pick to the Patriots, plays when Drew Bledsoe goes down injured, and comes in and is now considered the greatest quarterback of all time by many people. But he was written off at Michigan, written off in the draft, written off on the Patriots, and now people view him as the face when it comes to quarterbacks in NFL history. So there's a lot to be said about the fact of hard work and dedication to your craft, and getting after it no matter what anybody thinks.
Right.
As a student athlete, how did you shut out the noise? Because whether you're doing something right or wrong, there's the reality of anytime you're playing a road game, people will scream at you, yell at you, say things to you just to get in your head because you've come into their home. So, how did you handle the mental anguish that can come from literally walking into a building going, I'm a nice person. Like, I'm just here to play basketball, but I got people screaming at me like we've been, mortal rivals our whole lives. How do you
Right.
deal with that?
So I was lucky. I have a great support system. And so on the days that I was struggling, just talking to my family, just people closest to me, like, man, like, this is tough. And I'm like, listen, like, you know who you are, right? You know that you love the game. You know how to play. Just go do your thing. And then I also think that just having great teammates, the culture in the locker room from your coaches, we did a lot of like seminars and trainings and stuff about mental health, and just, again, just how to be centered into like what we're focusing on as a team and with each other. And so the outside noise, we don't know these people, they don't know us, so we really can't let it get to us. And sometimes it is harder than other times, for sure. I mean, we're human, so. But at the same time, just having people around you that are on the same path and the same mission as you, it definitely helps because we know what we've been through and what we've done. So, and again, it's part of the game. It's fun, right? The heckling, the coming at you, the snide remarks, all of it's fun. It's part of the game. It makes it more competitive, and for us, we love it. I mean, sometimes it just helps build up our energy, build up our passion. So,
Do you have a moment in your playing career where the heckling was going on and you did something on the floor that was really good, and you just can go back to that moment, and either from a shrug and a smile, a smirk, a wink, holding up a sign to your teammates, or
yeah.
just in general, do you have a moment that you could go back to where the heckling was happening and you got the best of it, so to speak?
Whew. I would say that's a tough one. I would say I don't remember a specific moment. I just remember this past season when we played at Toledo from Cincinnati, and I was just on fire. And so I heard like some fans like in the background like miss it or like you won't make it. And it's like I think in the first half I had made like six threes, and so I just kept shooting and making them. And then like the one time I made it, and like I kind of like looked at the guy behind me and like held my follow through. So like that was pretty cool. But I would say like the heckling wasn't too bad, but I was on fire to like miss it, so just stuff like that.
And in your playing days, you obviously spent 3 seasons first at Seton Hall as a
Mm-hmm.
Pirate, and then moved on from there to the Cincinnati Bearcats for the last 2 seasons. What
Yeah.
can you say about your time at both? So, first part Seton Hall, second part Cincinnati, and ultimately what made you want to jump in the portal and go elsewhere?
Yeah, so I have much respect for Seton Hall. That again was where I started out of high school, helped me grow and develop as a person and as a woman. The 3 years I was there, I learned a lot of lessons, had a lot of growth. I think for me, I just wanted just a new challenge, a different challenge, and just to be a little bit closer to home as well, because I love playing in front of my family, in front of my friends, and so just having them at all of our home games was phenomenal. And just better, like the best thing I thought for me. When you're away from home, out of high school, you're a kid coming in like, man, like I don't know what to expect, right? And so for me, I had grown, but I was ready for a new challenge and just to be back home. So
And interesting that the man that hires you, Nick DiPillo, also recruited you out of high school. So for this unique opportunity, he recruited you once. He recruited you again. He recruited you out of Wilmington High School in Ohio, and so having that opportunity to recruit you when he was at Seton Hall, and then recruit you now at Lemoyne, I can say that Nick DiPillo is 2-0 in his recruiting of Mya Jackson.
right.
So what's that been like?
That's been awesome. Me and Nick had built a great relationship in the recruiting process out of high school. And he's one of the main reasons why I had originally decided to go on a visit to Seton Hall, just how highly he talked about everything and just the relationship that we had built. And then, when I got there, obviously he got another job and was phenomenal there too. And so now it's crazy. It's like a full circle moment because as a player and now as a coach, just a belief and trust that he has in me and my abilities, and just being able to be there for me and teach me and mentor me has been phenomenal. I really appreciate Nick, and I'm just excited for this opportunity. So it's all crazy to me, but it's like stuff happens when it's supposed to, right?
How did Nick get you not once but twice? What is it about his recruiting pitch that's worked for you?
He always tries to convince me of these things, but no, he's just a great guy. Like when you talk to Nick, it's like he's just a people person. He is a great guy, has great values, and he's just easy to talk to, easy to get along with. Always willing to help, and I think for me, just being able to know that someone is about more than just the sport, right? It's about the people. That's what really drew me to Nick.
And he spoke about the fact that he saw you transitioning into coaching because of your mindset and your cerebral approach to the game. How have you kind of shown that? And would you agree with that? Would you agree when somebody says, like, when it came to mindset and just cerebral approach, just how you attack the game with your mind, that shows people, hey, she's going to be a coach someday. Like, Maya's going to be on the sideline. Would you agree with what Nick said? And do you think that you've always kind of been cerebral when it came to basketball?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And as long as I can remember me playing from middle school to now, I just have always been very in tune with the game mentally because as a point guard, I'm shorter, right? Not too much height, At one point, I wasn't as athletic either, and so it's like you have to use your brain a little bit more, be a little bit smarter in the game. And
Yeah.
so it really helped me when I got to high school and college, and I watch a whole bunch of film, and so that also helps tremendously. I like to watch different professional players, college players. I love basketball, so I just watch basketball all the time. I take notes, and so that just really helps translate onto the court. And so again, this past season I had an injury, and so I was able to see a lot more from the sidelines, and that just also helped develop my brain even more. Like I got to see it a little bit more from a coaching perspective, and again, just continue to grow that capacity.
What I mean, the why for you? Why, like you said, you watch so much. You're taking notes. You're writing things down. Why has that always been of interest of you and a passion to you? Some people can't stand watching film. Some people, after they play themselves, they don't want to go home and watch another game or see somebody else play. But it sounds like for you, it energizes you. Like you
Hmm.
like the challenge, you like to see it, you like to break it down, you want to see what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what other people are doing right, what they could do better. So why is that? Why is that such a part of you, Maya? That this cerebral, this note taker, this I just can't have enough information. Why is that who you are?
Yeah, that's funny you asked me that. So kind of back to my dad. I mean, from an early age, I think I was in like fifth or sixth grade. He had me in the basement watching film, and I'm like, Dad, like I don't want to do this. Like this is just too much. Blah blah blah. And it was just like little things, not anything crazy, but just watching videos of like your favorite players or just people at the level that I wanted to get to. And then I didn't understand it. But as I continued to get older, I realized that like you said, you can't have enough information. And I'm a person that always is looking how to better myself, how to expand, adjust, and just like maintain. So I think for me, it's not so much of like I think of it as like a job or it's work or I don't want to do it, but it's like, yeah, bring it on. Like I love challenges, and I just love like challenging my brain, challenging my mental. And for me, it's again, it's been very helpful so far. So I definitely look to continue to do that.
And for you, I mean, coming right off of playing in this past 2023-24 season, you have the opportunity to bridge between the coaching staff, student athlete. You're right there on that line with them. You've literally just gone through what they've been through. How much can that help to play to your advantage? Because I mean, and I'll talk about it from this standpoint. When I started my career of broadcasting, I was 18 years old,
Mm.
and I was constantly walking into rooms of people going, like, you're young, you don't know, you're not going to be able to figure it out. I used it to my advantage. And to this day, it's funny when I look back at 20, almost 21 years of broadcasting, I don't see myself as detached from student athletes because, I started my career with them. I started my career going to school with them. Here I am broadcasting at Marywood University, and the people that I'm broadcasting about are the people that you're going to class with, the people that you're walking by all the time on campus. So to me, when you build that connection and you start young in the game, I feel like it's an advantage. Some people treat it like a disadvantage. Why is it an advantage for you to come right off of playing and go straight into coaching?
Yeah, I would say for me, it's an advantage because when you look at the age, right, we're obviously very close in age. And so I'm able to connect with them on a different level, understand some of the things that they've been through, understand some of their, do's and don'ts and wants and needs. Because I literally just came from wanting and needing the exact same thing. And so being able to build that trust with them and as someone that they can come to and talk to and learn from and just ask questions about, what did you do in these situations or, what do you wish that you would have done in these situations. I think it's a tremendous opportunity, and I wouldn't want to be in any other place doing it because again, like I love to help people. So this is part of my passion and my why as well. So
And for you, speaking here with Mya Jackson on Dolphin Dive inside of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Moyne on Wake Up Call inside of these Heritage Hill studios. Why Moyne? I know we talked about your connection with Nick, but you said you wouldn't want to be anywhere else doing this right now, having the opportunity to coach. Why did you say yes, not just to Nick, but to Moyne?
because Lemoyne, as I've seen in the past couple of weeks, right, they have tremendous love and passion for their athletics.
Yeah.
Transitioning from a Division 2 school to Division 1, and so being a part of a program that is growing and learning and developing and being at the forefront of that and being able to see everything that's going on behind the scenes is phenomenal. And like I said, you don't get this opportunity every day, and it's just a blessing. And so to be able to be here and do it, and especially with Nick, I'm just so excited.
And like you said, the passion. Lemoyne women's basketball. I've been around this program for at least 12 years now, and
Mm-hmm.
was with Gina Castelli through her whole time. Mary Grimes from the day that she was brought in officially, and now with Nick DePillo. And this is a team who has made it to back NCAA tournaments. They have had consistency at the Division 2 level, going to the NCAA's. Under Gina Castelli, they won their only NE10 conference championship in the tournament ever. and it was the first one that they got in 23 years. So you look at Gina Castelli leading that team to the NCAA tournament, Mary Grimes in her first 2 seasons in Division II, leading them to the NCAA tournament. And last year, we look at the fact that in their first season in transition to Division I, they go into the NEC. They're the second team in the entire conference, 14-2. The only loss that's Sacred Heart, the number one team in the conference, who is now going over to the MAC, the MAAC. But Sacred Heart had one loss last season in 16 conference games. That loss was to Moyne in Moyne's first season in the conference, and that game was on the road at Sacred Heart. Then Moyne goes to the championship game in the NEC tournament. Then the WNIT, since the NCAA's was not something that Moyne could go to due to the reclassifying rules of the NCAA. The WNIT not only said, will you come play in our national tournament, but they had Moyne as an automatic qualifier, announcing them before the field was even announced as one of those few teams as an automatic qualifier. It's a lot of history in a short amount of time, a lot of success, and we're talking about national tournament year after year, including the first season in Division I. What does that tell you about the team that you're getting?
That tells us how committed they are to, their progress, their success, their work. It's not easy to win at all, and especially from as much success as they had till now, there's going to probably be a target on our backs, right? And so from what I've, heard and researched and as you just said, it's commitment. And we love that, at this level, it's hard, it's tough, you blood, sweat, and tears. But when everyone's committed to the same goal, that's when you win games, and that's when you create just a wonderful culture and environment. So I'm again very excited to get with this team and get to work.
And you not only coming right over as a student athlete into the coaching world, where you can age-wise be able to connect, you can also connect with these student athletes in the fact that you've lived during the time and played during the time of the transfer portal and NIL, name, image, and likeness. So what can you say to that effect, knowing that these student athletes are thinking about NIL, some of them are coming onto the team via the transfer portal. So the fact that you have lived in this world, utilized things that are available now that weren't available in the past to student athletes in college, what does that do as a help for you that you have the experience of physically being in the world as a student athlete during NIL and during the transfer portal?
Yeah, it's a huge help because I can help these young women navigate transfer portal, NIL. It's all just a big business now, and I would say the biggest thing that I would tell them is just to continue to be yourself and don't lose sight of yourself in the process, right? Because you want to transfer because you don't like something or you want a new experience, a new challenge, or whatever it may be. You just didn't like it. It was not for you, right? But wherever you go, whatever you do, and whatever deals that you're making, just make sure that you're continuing to be yourself within it, and don't try to change or adjust based on what you think people may want. And so that's what I learned in this process, because it's easy to be like, okay, well, I want to go here and do this because so and so said. Well, is that what you want to do, and is that what's best for you? So that's definitely the biggest thing.
You've worn blue and white. You've worn red and black. Mm-hmm. You're currently on screen wearing green, and you'll be in green and gold. I think green looks good on you, Mya. Which colors do you find to be your favorite? Because I'm going to, and I'm not saying in my connection to Moyne, I'm not saying it because of that, but I feel like green suits you. So can green be the greatest chapter?
Oh, so you're hyping me up. Yeah, listen, I love the green. I think it looks great as well. I would say I have to get used to it a little bit more because I'm used to wearing the red, black, and white. So I have to get used to it a little bit more, but I think this is going to be a great chapter for sure.
So being with the Dolphins, being here, we've talked about your father, Will, coaching and what he's done, things he's taught you. You as a coach, this is the first experience you're going to have coaching. How would you describe who you are as a coach as we step into this new era of your life? What are the pillars of Mya Jackson and who you want to be as a coach?
Yeah, I would say for me, I take a few of my dad's, the accountability, the trust, the passion, the hard work, But I also want to emphasize like the family, the dedication to the game, because any of my teammates can tell you like when it comes to being on the court in basketball, I don't play around. So it's again a love of mine, and I take it very seriously. And so I'm going to instill that love and passion into my players as well, and again just bring out the best in them. But at the same time, I want them to know that I'm always there for them as people, off the court, on the court, whatever they need, right? Just the family aspect of it. But know that they're going to get pushed because again, I'm passionate and dedicated about the game.
And that dedication and that passion, I mean, we've seen it. We're looking throughout history and just what you did. I mean, we go back to going to Seton Hall and seeing immediately that you were playing in 27 minutes per game, which is more than half the game, 10 points, 2.3 rebounds, 1.7 assists. You end up getting on the Big East all freshman team. And then we go from there and we see you have consistency with the next season 10.6 points per game, 2.8 rebounds, 1.5 assists. You're playing in 28.4 minutes at that time in the Big East. And then as we go from there to your last season at Seton Hall, you started 33 of 34 games in that season, averaged 32 minutes of 40 minutes per game. And then we see that you rank again in the top 10 among Big East players in 3-point field goal percentage. You reach double figures in scoring 15 times in 33 games. Then you go to Cincinnati, and we see, what you did at Cincinnati. Started 28 games, averaging 11 points, 2.7 rebounds, 2.6 assists, playing in 32.4 minutes per game, almost the entire game there as well. You get to 1,000 points in the game that you had against Memphis on January 14th of 2023. And then, like you said, in your final season, you started 5 games and then missed 25 of 27 of the final 27 games due to injury. But when we look at your collegiate career, from the beginning, the team leaned on you at Seton Hall. And that is no small task. You're in the Big East. Big East basketball is really good basketball. And then you go to
Right.
Cincinnati, and the challenges you had there at Cincinnati, and what you've done throughout your career. You've had a level of consistency, and I mean, when you're going out there, you're playing in 20 minutes from the jump. Then it gets up to 30 minutes. Then we're seeing, okay, almost 2 to 3 rebounds per game, 1 to 2 assists per game. Plus we're looking at points, 10 points, 11 points a game. Your level of consistency from year to year shows itself. You're going to score, you're going to dish the ball out, you're going to go after your rebounds, and you're going to be asked to play at least half the game, if not more than half the game. To look at all of that and to say Mya Jackson has a career in being asked upon to do a task, being consistent with that task, and then rising personally and then trying to help your team rise. There's a lot to be said there, and I think, and I said it repeatedly, but I think when we talk about positive consistency, especially in today's world, that's something that you circle, and when you find that in a person, you hold on to things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it's something special to have. And I'm just again so blessed that the people that I played with and that I've gotten to know throughout the years in my basketball career have trusted me with that responsibility. I don't take it lightly, and that's why again it just means so much to me. And I don't shy away from it either. Again, like you said, come in to Seton Hall young, but the team leaned on me because they saw like this girl, she's serious and she works hard and she can play, and so at any level, no matter how old you are, if this is what you can do and like you do it well, people will begin to notice that and trust you. And for me, I was just again happy, of course, but also like yeah, like this is what I came here to do, and we came here to win, right? So I think my whole career, it's just been a whole bunch of relationships being built and people just trusting in me just as much as I trusted them. So
Yeah, and it's been huge. And to your credit, that, like I said, that level of consistency doesn't happen by accident. You went through injury recently. So we talk about your ability to speak with the student athlete, having gone through the student athlete experience and having gone through it literally a couple months ago. The injury part of it is something that is really difficult. It goes into mental health. it goes into emotional health, it can go into spiritual health, physical health. There's so many things that can be affected when someone has the game taken away from them from something out of their control. What did you learn going through injury that you can help, gosh forbid, that happens to somebody? What can you take from your experience that can help someone have a positive experience through a difficult storm?
Yeah, I love this question. Like you said, it's not easy, right? And so, again, for me personally, at the beginning, it's very hard, again, mentally. But what I had was a great support system, first off. Second of all, my belief and trust in God's plan for me and what, is meant for me, right? Because I think everything happens for a reason. That's just what I believe, right? And so at this time in my life, I question, why me, right? Like my last year, I'm looking to go pro, like why me? But I then had to shift my mindset for it to be, okay, well, why not? Because it's trying to teach me and show me something. And in this process, I learned so much more about the game of basketball from a coaching perspective, right? Like being able to pick my coach's brains, watch practice, see the practice plans, watch film from a different lens, help my teammates from a different lens. Like when it's different seeing it on the court and off the court, and just being more positive in that way and always being a great teammate. I think that's what really helped me through this. Like, yeah. Having my teammates, still be able to come to me. I'm still cheering them on. I'm still helping them out. Like, still being involved. It's just in a different way. And I think no matter which way you're involved in the game, whether you're playing or whether you're on the sidelines, like you just make a huge impact on the people around you. And so I couldn't show up every day in a negative mindset with, negative thoughts, because then it brings the energy into the whole entire practice, into the whole entire gym, and into the people that you love and trust every day. And so I had to shift my mindset to that way. And again, it was phenomenal. Like I said, I learned so much about myself, just about what I've been through, like what I can do, what I can accomplish. And I think that this was a great lesson for me. So I would just say that to anybody that's going through an injury, and that's how I can help the players on Moyne, if, God forbid, that happens.
And you, I think, like you said, and I appreciate you mentioning God, and I appreciate you talking about everything happening for a reason, because I agree with that too. The injury that you went through, like you said, you're looking at going pro. Everything that you were just talking about while you were talking, in my head I was going, did God have you go through this injury to have you on the sideline to take more notes and watch more film and have a coach's mindset to prepare you to be in the role that you're in right now? Did God say, like, she doesn't know, but I know that she's going to be a coach? So in an adverse way, through injury, he kind of gave you experience coaching before you got experience coaching.
Absolutely. And it's crazy. I thought the exact same thing, I'm like, is this what he's showing me, that this is my calling? Like, of course I love the game and I love playing, but I've also found, tremendous just fulfillment in, helping people and being in like a coach's mindset. And so I think that again, like I said, everything happens for a reason. So I definitely believe that he was trying to show and teach me something so that I would be prepared for this role that I'm in now.
Love it. We're going to play Rapid Fire. We're here with Mya Jackson on this edition of the Dolphin Dive in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Moyne College here on Wake Up Call inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Mya, coaches never get to ask questions, but on this show, you do. So you get to ask me the first one. We'll go back and forth with Rapid Fire. You ask the first, then I'll go, and we'll do a few here. What's your first question for me?
All right. What's your favorite NBA team?
Well, that is easy without doubt. And do I have a prop? I think I got plenty of props in here, but I'll take this one. I will unveil to you. I mean, anybody that watches and listens knows, but well, who are you a fan of?
No, I don't really have a favorite NBA team. I like players, so I enjoy watching Kyrie Irving. I enjoy watching who else do I like? Kyrie, KD, Steph Curry, of course. Yeah. Just players like that. Yeah.
Yeah, my team is Toronto. Been Toronto since 1995, since the beginning. And I was told, why would you like the only team that's in Canada? Why would you like a team in the NBA that doesn't play in America? What a stupid team to like. Nobody's going to win. Canada plays hockey. And then when they won in 2019, I looked around the room and I thought to myself, wow, isn't that an interesting thing what just happened? And I'm going to look right into the camera for this because these people know who they are. I have not gotten apology letters. I have not gotten chocolates, roses sent to my house, none of that. But I will tell you this, and this is a really cool fact. On the coaching staff that you are now on, the one person, because there was only one, the one person sitting next to me the night that the Raptors won their first NBA championship in 2019 was Miss Katie Kalinske.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
She was with me supporting all the way through. Kawhi Leonard, all that stuff. So yeah, I'm a Raptor fan through and through. When I showed the We the North sign, you made a face. Is there something about the Raptors you don't like?
No, it's just out of all teams, like I guess other people kind of think a little bit, but out of all teams, I just wasn't expecting you to say them, so it was just surprising.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, there's players I like to watch, of course, but I love Toronto. I mean, we just had the draft here recently, and the guys that are on the Raptors now, they're already a part of the family. That's how I look at it. It's like whoever you were, everything up until now, wherever you played, now you're part of the Toronto family. And
Right.
I mean, think about it. If you stand outside of the arena, if you stand outside of Scotiabank Arena and you're watching the game, they call the outside area, the watch party viewing area, they call it Jurassic Park. Who does not want to be a part of Jurassic? I mean, like that to me is
That
just
is pretty cool.
It is. It's awesome. The fans are awesome. The city is awesome. So, I mean, I love Toronto. So, yeah, Raptors, since day zero, we've been together. So, my question to you, if the NBA is more about you watching players, who is your favorite WNBA team and why?
Favorite WNBA team. I enjoy watching the Aces, and not because they win all these games and they won championships, but when you really take a look at their players on their team, so Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, Alicia Clark, like how these women carry themselves off the court,
Yeah.
and then when they get on the court, their relationship translates to how they play and how hard they play for one another. And everybody has their role and knows their role, and that's why they just gel so well together. And I just love watching them play.
Good answer. I like that. And the Aces trying for a three-peat, which is insane. Absolutely insane. What's your second one for me?
I can ask anything?
Anything in the world.
All right. Favorite movie series?
Oh boy. Favorite movie series.
Yeah.
What a question. I'm not going to say who I'm not because I don't want to have unnecessary hate. So I'm not going to say the ones where I'm like, yeah, no, I don't watch them. That's really tough. Favorite movie series. I mean, I'm a Marvel guy. And, I mean, I like DC. I want DC to be better. I think I do a really good Bane impression. But I would say it's just Sean Connery with, like, a muzzle over your face. But I guess I would
That's still a good answer.
What'd you say?
I said that's still a good answer, Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Marvel. I'm gonna say this though, and I do have an entertainment show called Superpowered Pop where we talk about all this stuff, but Marvel has lost it. Well, Disney has lost their way of telling stories, and in losing their way of telling stories, there's been a lot of lack of respect for the sanctity of the characters that they have ownership of. And I would like to see Disney hire people based on their quality of work. I think that Disney's kind of losing talent, and that's not good. So, I mean, I think Disney as a whole has really just kind of lost who they are. and they forgot about storytelling. And I think they arguably were the best at it when I was growing up as a kid. So, I mean, I love Marvel, but I'm very disappointed in Marvel. I will say, in my disappointment of these last few years, there's two projects that were great. And that was Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a Black Panther fan, I'd say probably 2 years before the first movie came out. And I'm a Chadwick Boseman fan for more than just his role there. I loved him in Draft Day. Still one of my favorite movies ever. But I would say Black Panther Wakanda Forever and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, they were emotional. There was no propaganda. There was no political stuff. There was no like message undertone. It was literally a movie about characters that love each other. And it was funny because I saw Black Panther Wakanda Forever 4 times, if it wasn't 5. I saw it 4 times in the theater. It might have been a fifth because I think I saw it when I was on a cruise. But I kept going to see the movie, and I cried every time that I went in. Those first 4 times I cried. And Angela Bassett, I don't know if she did because I don't watch the award shows because I think there's a lot of like political garbage that goes on with it. I don't feel like people win when they like should win. I feel like they win if that's who the committee likes. And Angela Bassett, for her role in that movie, when she stood up and said, and I might be paraphrasing because I might not get it completely right, but when she said, "I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family's gone, have I not lost everything?" If you don't cry in that moment or feel like moved in that, like I would literally move in my chair in that moment to like get closer to the screen. I remember watching it with my buddy Isaac, and we're like brothers. And Isaac and I went to see this, and I think it was the first time I saw it. I saw it with him, and I cried at that part. I cried at the end because I made a bunch of predictions in the movie. I predicted T'Challa was going to have a son and all that. So at the end, Isaac had not cried the entire movie, and he's sitting to my left, and we're in the back row. When they showed that he had a son, I looked over and I saw a tear line, and I looked because I didn't say anything to him, but we just talked about it recently. I said, "Dude, I looked at you and I thought to myself, if you don't cry right now, you're not a human being." So,
right.
And he finally like cried. I told him, I said, "You saw me cry and I lost it," but such a good movie. A lot of my predictions came true. The soundtrack, unfortunately, was not as good as the first Black Panther soundtrack with Kendrick Lamar, but I would say that and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 if I had to pick anything recently. But I'm just hoping that Deadpool and Wolverine is good because Marvel, Disney they've lost a lot of people, and it makes me sad because it's like when you're at the top of the mountain and you feel like you're invincible and you kind of like lose what got you there and you start to fall down the mountain. I really, before they fall to the bottom, I want them to figure it out. I know it's a long answer, but I love everything it was. I don't like what it is, but to Ryan Coogler and the whole team that really did a passion project for Chadwick Boseman, I mean, there's a lot to be said about that movie. But Angela Bassett, if it means anything to you, in my world, you won an award for that role. So
absolutely,
now
she definitely should have won.
I want to stay on that just because I'm going to shamelessly plug Black Panther Wakanda Forever because I feel like doing it. So you saw the movie, I'm guessing, because you said she should win. So favorite part of the movie, and what are your thoughts on Letitia Wright being Black Panther of the future?
Favorite part of the movie? I would say my favorite part was, I saw it a while ago, but I would say when we did find out that he had a son, just because it was like his legacy continues. That was awesome. And then as far as her being Black Panther, I mean, it was, I predicted that she would. Like, it was cool, but I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't like okay, this is great, but it wasn't like she was a terrible Black Panther. I don't know. It was something was just like missing for me personally. But I think she did a phenomenal job, of course. I don't know. It just I was expecting a little bit more, I guess. But
Yeah.
the movie itself was phenomenal. And like the storyline and everything like that. I don't know. I just Black Panther and like the Marvel series, I have to figure out how to watch them in order to get like the full of everything. Because
Yeah.
like my friend was telling me, she's like, listen, like if you don't watch them in the order that they're supposed to be watching, like you can be a little bit confused on like
Yeah.
some things.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I have to do that too. But yeah, for that movie specifically, like yeah, she was okay for me. But it was still a great movie.
I wanted to see Killmonger at some point, like, have his redemption story and then have him be
Yeah.
the Black Panther, at least for. So my thing was that he was going to get it and then she was going to get it after him. So we end up seeing him in the movie, but he never becomes it. And I thought, like, he was a villain of the first movie, but it was like a villain of circumstance and the
Yeah.
life that he had. So I wanted to see him redeemed in some way, which he wasn't, and that was kind of sad for me. But I think Michael B. Jordan, I mean, listen, he's done Creed. He has, he played Human Torch in one iteration of the Fantastic Four. He's been Killmonger. He's done a lot of good roles. He's in a movie called That Awkward Moment that's actually really good too. That people should see.
Well, I've
It's
never
kind of a
seen it.
dramedy. Um, but yeah, Michael B. Jordan, I would have liked to see him be redeemed a little bit.
Yeah.
What's your last question for me?
Are you gonna ask me one?
I'm gonna ask one after. Oh wait, did I just? Well, I asked you about the Black Panther, so now you get a
Okay,
last
so
one and
Black
I get the
Panther.
last one. Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Hmm. Do you have a favorite like genre of food? So like Italian, Mexican, Chinese, like stuff like that. I love asking people that question just to kind of see.
So I'm Italian and Hispanic, and I think it's very inch. How do I want to say this? When you tell people you're Hispanic, there are people that go, "Oh, you're Mexican," and so I have to like literally tell people that we're not all from Mexico.
Right.
And I also get the question of which is more authentic, Moe's or Chipotle? And my response to that is when you go into Chipotle, is there ever anyone that's not named Beth or Steve that gives you your
Right.
food? And do you hear that music in the like? Are you hearing that music in the background? No, you're not hearing that music. So no, there. I mean, no offense to Moe's or Chipotle, but authentic to me is important, and I feel like I could live on my heritage food forever. I mean, I grew up on Italian food on both sides of my family. Hispanic, I didn't I didn't know that I had blood going back to Spain until I was 14,
Mm.
and I took Spanish in school. I wanted to learn the language. I've spoken it. I've gone to Puerto Rico and for the first time in my life thought in Spanish instead of thinking in English. So I love the language, and I've gotten to love the food over time because, like I said, I mean, growing up on Italian food, it would be easy to pick that. But I think the thing about being Italian and being Hispanic is both cultures can live in a world where you can make food and your leftovers can continue to become other things.
Yeah.
Tacos can become nachos, and then you can put that into a quesadilla. And then with Italian food, it's like, you can make lasagna, and then, when you live in the world of lasagna and manigot and stuffed shells, you can have your meatballs on the side of your stuffed shells, and then you make a meatball sub, and then you can put the meatballs in Italian wedding soup. So I think that there's like this ability to make one thing into many things. So I don't know if I can choose one genre between the two. I would just say that I'm a very spoiled person, that God gave me the blood he gave me.
I love it. I love it. That was a great.
The last question for you, we're going to keep with food, and I'm going to challenge you to pick one breakfast, one lunch, one dinner. So you have three meals, and each of these meals is different. but you have to eat them for the rest of your life, Mya. Paint me a picture of your everyday breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay. So for breakfast, I'll definitely do scrambled eggs with cheese,
Okay.
turkey bacon, and probably pancakes. Gotta go with pancakes. It was between pancakes and waffles, but I would say pancakes. So pancakes, turkey bacon, and eggs for breakfast.
Okay.
Now lunch, I'm not a big lunch person, but if I were to eat lunch, it would be like a turkey, ham, and cheese sandwich with lettuce, mayo, and then some type of fruit. So I'll just say strawberries. Strawberries and a sandwich, I'm good. And then dinner, now this is where it gets tough. This is where it gets tough.
Okay.
So, oh my goodness. I'll have to go with steak. I love me a nice good steak. So steak with a baked potato, but I have to put like a little bit of cheese and bacon on the potato, and then a salad. So that's what I would say.
So what are you cooking the steak? So how do you like your steak, and what dressing on the salad?
So I like my steak medium.
Okay.
And then I love like a good balsamic or Italian salad dressing.
So Mya, you don't know this, but all of those would be considered correct answers by my statisticians here in the studio. So
awesome.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of correct to that. So with that being said, Mya Jackson here, Dolphin Dive, getting to know a new addition to Nick DiPillo's Moyne women's basketball staff. You will see her on the sidelines this season for the Dolphins, and of course you'll see her here on Wake Up Call inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Mya, it has been my absolute pleasure to get to know you and share your story with everybody. Now that both of us are hungry, sitting here talking about this, I can't thank you enough for telling your story, sharing that, and really, getting to see who's coming into the Heights, and it's been a pleasure. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun, and I just look forward to getting on campus and really getting to work with everybody. So appreciate you again, and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees. And as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in '07, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There's a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really changed the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life, and we are so proud to be inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. I am in picture here with my good buddy, Mr. Jason Lucas, who is back on the broadcast here today, and we're happy to be here, like I said, inside of these Heritage Hill Studios. Heritage Hill coming to you on 3149 Sweet Road in Pompey, New York, and of course also coming to you at their newest location, 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse at Sweetheart Corner. Head out to Heritage Hill today. A little goes a long way in supporting local business in our central and upstate New York community, and a fantastic business that is only expanding. So big time shout out to Heritage Hill for that. And their food's really good, and they got me. See, I'm not someone, Jason's going to be stunned at this, I'm not someone to drink a beer, but they flavor theirs so well that I've actually tried some stuff and haven't been, against it. So Dan Palladino has done the unimaginable. As always, folks, drink responsibly. I drink very slow. if I drink anything, I have 1 beer per 8 hours. So I think that's how it goes with about 4 waters. Jay Bird can vouch for me on that. Jason, how we doing, sir?
Oh, good, buddy. Yeah, I could go for a drink or two this weekend. That'd be great. But yeah, other than that, doing awesome, buddy.
Happy to have you here. Jason coming to us as a sports and entertainment veteran. He's done so many jobs in so many different walks of life when it comes to sports and entertainment. Well rounded and more than anything, a faithful guy. And, we're here today to speak on a lot of things, Jay. You know that my show is, Wake Up Call, as well as everything we do at Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, is a reflection of me. And in it being a reflection of me, I hope is a reflection of God. I don't do any of this stuff without him at the forefront. And the moment that loses focus is when I lose focus. So, today, yes, we're going to talk about college football coming back. Yes, we're going to talk about the NFL coming back. But we're in a very unique place in this world. We're in a very unique place in the United States of America. You and I had never seen an assassination attempt, and we had never lived through that. My message that I got from my mom was very clear that now her and I share that. My dad and I share that. My mom said that when Saturday, July 13th, 2024 at 6:11 p.m. happened, that she went right back to 5th grade and John F. Kennedy.
Mm.
And she said, I'll never forget that moment where they came into the classroom and said the president has been shot. And then they came back a little bit later and said the president's dead. And it's surreal to me because almost a year ago to the day, I was in Dallas, Texas for the first American Athletic kickoff event that it was called AAC Media Days last year. And I was down in Arlington, and Dallas and Fort Worth are all like the same home. And so I went down to downtown Dallas and I did the JFK tour. And I was right by the X's. I stood at the grassy knoll. I looked up at the Texas Depository and actually drove over exactly where he was shot. And so I experienced that entire tour and the stories behind it, a lot of things I didn't know. And then here we are, almost a year later, and we're living through this. Jason, when you saw it, I saw it in real time. I was sitting with Lily. I had something that I had to go to Saturday night, but I had a little bit of time. And, to be completely honest, I feel like I've been a bad dad to Lily. I don't feel like I've sat down enough. So I sat down and I turned on YouTube TV, and that channel, for whatever reason, was the channel that was on. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't even know he had a rally today. So, I hit, okay, I'll watch it. And I'm just sitting there watching it, and I hear pop, pop. And he keeps going. And then I hear pop, 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 and he grabs his ear, and I'm going, that can't be happening. Like, it's 2024. There's no way. There's no way, with all the security that we have, that a presidential candidate and former president could be shot at. And I had an upset feeling in my stomach, which is back now talking about it. And I had this feeling in my throat. And you fast forward to people's reactions and how divided this country is and how inhumane some people are. And I had to delete people on Facebook that were mad that the bullet missed. And I said to them, this has nothing to do with which side you're on. I will say this to the media that said that Trump is vile and he's evil and he's mean and he's Hitler and he's this and he's that. The way that you treated an assassination attempt, you're all of the things you said he was. To the people that wish that the assassination bullet didn't miss, you're all of the things that you said he was. And to hear somebody on the other side of the coin consistently push this rhetoric that he is this evil, that Trump is this evil person and that you need to put him in a bullseye. That's a pretty clear statement. Trump has been vehemently attacked for the way that he speaks, yet we don't see that with Joe Biden. And as an impartial broadcaster, it is my duty as a member of the media to call out when something is right for some and wrong for others. I would do it in a Duke, North Carolina game. I would do it in a Syracuse, Georgetown game. And I'm doing it now with Biden and Trump. I feel that when it comes to politics, there's always been a proper discourse of people talking about it, talking about what they think, talking about their opinions and what they care about and who they're going to vote for. And then we go and vote, and then life goes on. Well, in the last 8 years at least, people have lost friends. People have stopped talking to family. People have said what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander. People have attacked one side for one reason and then for the same reason defended the other side. I've been in conversations with people that consistently fact-checked one person and never fact-checked the other person. And I just think it's wrong. And I think that when people say, well, who do you support and who is this and who is that? My question that I ask you as an impartial journalist, why are you watching a network that is lying to you? When they tell you inflation is down, do you have more money in your pocket? When they tell you that gas prices are great, what is it like for you to fill up at the gas tank? How much did it used to cost you? Mine used to be under $30. Now it's over. So that would be a lie. When they tell you that no one has died from a war in the last 4 years, that's not true. Because the 3 wars that are going on now didn't exist 4 years ago. So to me, it's not about pro-Trump, pro-Biden. It's about the truth. And for some odd reason, the truth has gone by the wayside in this country. And it makes me really sad and it makes me really confused that if I tell people the truth, I'm defending a candidate you don't like. If I tell you that this should be questioned, I'm defending a candidate you don't like. It's not about defending a candidate. It's about defending the sanctity of this country, the country that my grandfathers and my great uncles helped to preserve, the country that my parents have raised me in, the country that my family came over from Ellis Island, from Spain and Italy to. And if I, as a broadcaster, talk about the NFL and just play dumb and, just keep talking like nothing's happening, I'm doing a disservice to this country and I'm doing a disservice to God more than anything. So I tell people, and I preface this all the time, it's not pro-Trump, it's not pro-Biden, it's pro-America. And if you think that the overwhelming majority of the media, probably 90%, is telling you the truth, they're not. And in any place where the government or some other shadow power controls the media, every single one of those places we've called tyrannical rulers and a dictatorship, yet you're not willing to call that what it is right now. I know it's a long-winded intro to this, Jason, but I'd love to get your thoughts because I come to people today not asking you to vote blue or vote red, but asking you to question when your reality doesn't support the lies that are being fed to you in the media, and to actually ask the media to tell the truth. And when places don't, and places will defend something even when it is senseless to defend something, that you call it out and that you do not follow that we stop being sheep and that we remember who our shepherd is. I hand it to you.
Yeah, I would say I'm not blue and I'm not red. I'm red and I'm white and I'm blue. Because, I want us all to love each other and be together on things. And I do have a nephew that's in the Air Force right now. So it's been really heavy on my heart that something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And now, this might be the first thing. Who even knows what else could happen? my thoughts on Donald Trump are very simple. He's a businessman. He doesn't owe us anything. He really, I mean, truthfully, honestly, could just go on with his life and not deal with all the BS that comes with being the president. But he's out there putting his life on the line and got shot doing it. I mean, kind of got to admire that. You know, somebody that he could do a million other things with his money and with his power that he already has outside of politics. So like unfortunately for some people, like I only have good things to say about him at this point because, you know, how are you going to continue spreading hate at this point?
Yeah.
And I don't feel like he does that. I don't feel like he's so divisive on things. But again, like he's just a guy that he really doesn't even have to do what he's doing. He does it because he loves his country. And that's, you know, where I see him coming from. And I'm, you know, like I said, not red, I'm not blue. I don't vote. I don't care necessarily who the president is. Never have. Never have. I've never seen where anything that they do necessarily affects my day to day until the last few years with, like you said, the inflation and, you know, $45 to fill up the tank of a Kia Forte. I mean, like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, no,
Yeah, you know,
it's
I
been an
mean,
emotional time.
would you say?
It's been an emotional time, just, you know, worried about what's next and you know, my nephew.
Yeah, and I pray the best for your nephew because, you know, my great uncle Pat, who passed away within these last few years, almost 100 years old, served in the Air Force, and my great uncle Carmen, who passed away recently, served in the Navy. My grandpa Cavino served in the Navy. My grandpa Tortora served in the Army. So, you know, I come from a family that puts their money where their mouth is. I come from a family that, you know, we are the great American dream. You know, 100% of my family in my household chased their dreams and caught them. My dad wanted to be a lawyer. He was a lawyer for 44 years and just recently retired. My mom wanted to be a flight attendant at 18. She did it at 47 years old. She chased her dreams, she caught them, and she's still working for the airline industry. She's worked for multiple companies, and she has been a leader in all of them in some way, shape, and form. And she has done the unthinkable, the unimaginable, the impossible. And when people have questioned her and tried to put her down and tried to steal power from her that she had with dealing with certain things and with security and being that person, that go-to person when it came to really important stuff that you have to know within the airlines. When she was a leader, she was attacked vehemently, consistently, and every time they attacked her, she gained more respect, she gained more trust, and she gained more support. So my mom, more than most, would understand exactly what it's like to be Donald Trump today in a certain circumstance. Not in the circumstance ever do I want her to be what it was like this past Saturday, but that my mother has done. In, I mean, I think about what my mom has accomplished and the people that tried to stop her and the things that they said about her. It feels very Donald Trump. My father, as a lawyer, when I was a baby, had people threaten his life. Criminals who he was trying to prosecute in the justice system with fairness and respect to the community said that they were going to kill his son. And here I am 38 years later. So my parents have dealt with hate. They have dealt with people trying to ruin their careers. They have dealt with people trying to discredit their word. And in the case of my father, they've had death threats. And they chased their dreams and they caught them. You look at me and, you know, I decided when I was a sophomore in high school, when I was in 10th grade, I made the decision that I wanted to be a broadcaster. I loved watching Stuart Scott and Rich Eisen. And to this day, even though I never met Stuart Scott, I feel like he knows in heaven how much of an influence and impact he had on my life. Because I don't see a lot of people like him and I don't see a lot of people that are saying something that nobody else is saying, or we're trendsetters and people laugh at us and balk at us and how could he say that? That's so corny and stupid. And then everybody copies it and pretends like we didn't say it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the world of media, I have had people attack my career. I've had teachers try to keep me from graduating when I was in a hospital bed because I took too many credits.
Mm-hmm.
I had a teacher destroy a tape that I did of a show that I created, and he told me this should teach you a lesson to never give somebody your original tape. And I'm like, but you're my advisor and my teacher. I when I was in the hospital, they had a meeting with my co-host trying to coup me out of a show that I created, a show that they hated, a show that they didn't respect. And as soon as I graduated, they took my name off and put all their names on it like they had anything to do with the show. I lived through that. That was the beginning of my career. I lived through bosses lying to me. I lived through bosses telling me to trust them when we didn't sign a contract. I have lived through the media plagiarizing my work, and I've been quiet about it and danced around it, but I have no qualms about saying that the majority of the media in my hometown of Syracuse, New York, will treat me like a ghost. They will walk right by me, right through me, right around me when I'm at a press conference, and those same people steal from me so consistently that I feel like I should be given a check every single month as a thank you for feeding their family. I am disgusted with how my dad was treated. I'm disgusted with how my mom was treated, and I'm disgusted on how I was treated. And yet 100% of our family chased our dreams and we caught them. We are the American dream. And I told my mom after watching what happened to Donald Trump on Saturday, July 13th, 2024 at 6:11, it made me stronger. It made me want to say out loud more the disgusting pieces of you-know-what that we have in central and upstate New York in the media. The distrusting, dishonest, disrespectful, people that will shake your hand and stab you in the back, people that lie. I have read my stories on other people's websites. I have seen Sports Illustrated, ESPN, Fox, the Post-Standard, Syracuse.com, just reporting. I mean, when it comes to Moyne, I spent a year with them going from Division II to Division I, and not a single person in the United States of America gave me credit when I spent a year on it. 5-6 months into it, a kid took credit for my work. A year into it at the press conference, I'm standing next to people that I've never seen on campus, or I see on campus once in a blue moon, and they're like, "Oh man, what a great story." And I'm just tired of being quiet about it. I am so tired. And if Donald Trump taught any of us anything about humanity, when a bullet grazes your ear and you say, "Let me get my shoes," and you tell the Secret Service to wait so you can stick your head out, pump your fist, and tell them to fight. I mean, you're right. He doesn't owe anybody anything in this country. And I would say the same thing if this was Joe Biden that stuck his hand out and said fight, so people stopped getting mad because it was Trump. But the reality of it all is we have to understand that this world is full of a lot of posers. This world is full of a lot of people that hide behind social media posts and account names that don't even have pictures. We live in a world where a lot of people have an opinion, but so few people back up what they say they're going to do. And after being sworn at by media at public events, having the F word in my face, after being totally disrespected and ignored, after being laughed at when asking questions, having people that are my father's age come up to me and tell me that they openly make fun of me with their friends and they love it. The only thing that I have to say to the media is every single thing that Donald Trump has said about how fake you are, how much you lie, how many agendas you have, and how much you plagiarize is 100% true. And if I can tell anybody anything about Donald J. Trump, it is not me telling you to vote for him or not to vote for him, but I can promise you after spending 2 decades plus in the media These are some of the most disgusting, vile, hypocritical, double standard, plagiarizing freaks that I have ever seen in my life. And there is nothing in this world that is ever going to change them, because I have seen things happen. I have seen moments where we should have grace, and they have no grace. They have no care. They want you to click. They want you to buy. It doesn't matter to them. And to a man who created his own business, and I loved my time there, and I gained a lot, and I have nothing bad to say about them. But just because I started my own business, made my own name, and put my own name on the door, doesn't mean I'm any less than anybody else. And if I was less than you, and I wasn't a real journalist, and I was fake, and I was a fraud, then why are you using my work? Why are you stealing from me? Why did I used to see my story once a year or twice a year? Now I see it every month. At this point, I can't even turn on the news in Syracuse, New York, because I'm sick and tired of seeing my stuff reported by somebody else. It makes me sick to my stomach. So this is my hometown. And at the end of your life, when God asks you what you did with your life, and you say, I stole from Dan Tortora, and I stole from Jill, and I stole from Bob, and I stole from Sue, and I made it my own, God's going to tell you, okay, I asked you what you did. I didn't ask you what they did. When I die, I can say to God, everything that I gave you with my blood, sweat, and tears was mine. Whether people liked it or not, whether people listened or not, whether people watched or not, whether people read or not, it was mine. And if at any time I had a feeling in my pit of my stomach that I was doing something wrong, I didn't do it. And so my family, we've lived the American dream. We've all been threatened in some way. We've all been bad-mouthed in some way. We've all been disrespected in some way. We've all been pushed out of our career in some way. But we never back down. So if you can watch Saturday, July 13th, 2024, and not see someone who, like Jason said, doesn't owe you anything. If he walked away right now, he has millions of dollars. If he walked away right now, he's got hotels everywhere. If he walked away right now, he could be on a beach. He has a gorgeous, extremely intelligent, just charismatic, incredible wife. If you read her words the day after the assassination attempt, that woman, I would vote for her for president. The way that she speaks, Melania Trump is put everything aside and just look at this woman's ability to put words together in a story and tell it to everybody, tell it to Democrats, Independents, Republicans, ask us all to come together at a time where she could be screaming and yelling and losing her mind. And here she is somehow in 24 hours or less found a way to say beautiful, thoughtful words about God, about family, about country. And never once did she say be Republican. Never once did she say choose a side. The only thing that she said was we need to come together and love needs to overcome everything. And again, to a family where 100% of our household chased our dreams and caught them and continues to catch them, I stand in front of you today saying to you, this is not okay. My dad shouldn't get a death threat for trying to protect a family and trying to protect a 91-year-old woman who was raped in a nursing home. He shouldn't. When my dad protected that woman, the attorney general took credit for it. Everybody took credit for all the work that my dad did. The millions of dollars, the billions of dollars he brought back to New York State, all of the fraud that he went through, all of the criminal acts that happened. My dad sometimes was in the paper, but a lot of the time somebody was, hey, look at how great I am. And that person didn't even know the name of that woman. Mm-hmm. And when I look at my mom and I look at everything that she's been through, and I look at the massive amounts of credit that everybody's taken for her, the reality of it all for me is I come from a family where our hard work, dedication, and determination becomes other people's paycheck. And if that's how you're going to feed your family, then that's how you're going to do it. But when I walk into a room and my mother walks into a room and my father walks into a room, we own that damn room. And whether you think it or not, we do. If I walked into hell today and the devil himself was sitting there with fire around him, I would say, get up, because I own this place. And that's how you have to walk through life. So whoever you're voting for in 2024, it's inconsequential to the fact that I identify as an American. As Jason said, and I echo his words, we are red, white, and blue. We're not red, we're not white, we're not elephants, we're not donkeys. We are the United States of America. And we are not the divided states of America. We are not the defected states of America. We are not the disgusting states of America. We are not the what state are we in of America. We are the United States. We are a people that have been through hell. We are a people that have risen like the phoenix. We are a country that was born out of saying enough is enough. We are a country that was ripped apart once, and it took everything to keep it together, and someone was assassinated for doing that. When people try to make positive change, it is extremely difficult. Because when you try to do the right thing, and you try to be original, and you try to be unique, and you try to be moral, and you try to put God first, people hate that. People go against it. Because most people in life will talk about what they'll do when they get out of the chair, but they never get up from a sitting position. So when you get up and you stand up and you are courageous and you go after what you want with bravery and dignity and faith in God and hope and love and empathy and trust and humility, when you do those things, you remind everybody that they are not doing those things. So instead of being happy that someone had the guts to do it, they attack you because they don't. So whether you like Donald Trump or not, this man was shot at, which should have never happened, and there are a lot of people to be questioned and probably a good amount of people to resign their jobs. But here today, this morning, to the world, because we have people that watch and listen all over the world, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is a supporter of the United States of America. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is a supporter of the American dream. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is not going to stay quiet about the fact that a man or a woman was shot at. A millimeter's difference saved his life. God is not done with Donald J. Trump. And whatever you do and whoever you vote for, understand something. He owes you nothing. Most politicians get into politics to make money. He has money. So the least you can do is understand that a man who had an assassination attempt on his life, and many people for the last 8 years asking people to not only fight with him, but to abuse, scream at, and force people out of restaurants, is what some Congress people have said. If you support Donald Trump, that they gave you the right to abuse those people in public. That's why a lot of people stay quiet. We do not live in a country where we are controlled. We live in a country where we, the people, make the decision. The life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness belongs to all of us, not some of us, and not one party. So if you are in a place right now where you feel controlled and you don't feel like you can speak your mind, then that means we're not in the America that our forefathers and foremothers built for us. We need to do better. There's more of us than there are of those representing us. If you want to make a positive change, do it at the voting booth, do it in your communities, do it in your life in general. We, the people, need to say that we have had enough. Thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, man. That's a lot to unpack. My gosh, just talking about, what can happen when health issues strike. I lost a job in the hospital one time too.
Yeah.
And they'll replace you real quick. So that's one thing definitely to remember is, you can get wrapped up in your work and you think it's so important and more important than your family, more important than anything else is, making that money. But that job will replace you before you even are 6 feet under. They'll get somebody else to come do it. So
yeah,
Definitely take your PTO. Anybody that has it, I don't even have it, but like you got PTO, take that. Take every advantage you can and every time off and every minute you can with your kids and your wife. Every minute that you can.
Yeah. You know, and
I will replace you.
yeah, no, and they will. So again, folks, Biden, Trump, Kennedy, whoever, please get Kennedy some Secret Service. I mean, for goodness sakes, this man's father was assassinated running for president. If anyone should have a detail, hello. I mean, he went through it. So, I mean, did Ross Perot not have security detail? I mean, I just, I don't, I don't understand it. But again, you know, you say Donald Trump and it's taboo. We live in America. I should be able to say Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, Trump, Biden. I should be able to say these words without people going, I'm triggered. Triggered? You're triggered?
Their whole life.
Let me tell you something about triggers. One of them went off this weekend. And if anybody who's anti-Trump was like, oh man, I wish he got... We're not friends anymore. We're not friends anymore. You might not know it, but we're not friends anymore. Because if they shot at Joe and you were upset that they missed, we're not friends anymore. If they shot at Kamala and they missed and you were upset, we're not friends anymore. If they shot at Trump or Vance and you're upset that they missed, then we're not friends anymore. Because the fiber of my being, everything inside of me screams God. God is at my core. And at my core, I do not wish death upon anyone. I do not wish illness upon anyone. I might make jokes. I might make a joke about an ex-girlfriend. But if you were in my personal life behind a closed door with my knees on the ground, as much as I joke about things that I've been through, I pray for my ex-wife. I pray for my ex-girlfriends. I pray for people I'm friends with. I pray for people I'm not. The media that I talked about here on today's show, I pray for them. And that's just me. If you hate me, I pray for you. If you love me, I pray for you. If you don't care either way, I pray for you. Because I didn't see Donald Trump Saturday, July 14th. What I saw or July 13th. I didn't see Donald Trump that day. I saw somebody who cares enough about this country to run for president and get shot at. And I've said this since I was a little kid. I have wanted to run for president since I was in elementary school. Seeing what happened to Donald Trump made me want to run more someday. It made me want to run more. Because knowing that that can happen in our society and knowing that that's where we are right now, we need God, we need help. And I tell people all the time, I have met with Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, war veterans, gay, straight, bi, on and on, black, blue, brown, white, tan, whatever. I have met with so many different people, and I have said to them this: don't we want the same stuff? We want a safe neighborhood. We want our kids' lives to be better than ours. We want our education to be fair and consistent. We want you to teach kids that 1 + 1 is 2, because it always is. And if it's not, well, then the bank owes me more money. We want to have healthcare that's affordable and actually covers things. We want home insurance that's affordable and actually covers things. We want car insurance that's affordable and actually covers things. We want grocery prices to be fair. We want grocery prices to allow us to be able to feed our families. We don't want to have to get a second job. Nobody wants a second job. There's a time when I worked in Florida, I had 3 jobs. Nobody wants 2 jobs. You want to have 1 job. We want to be able to chase our dreams in this country, make enough money to pay our bills, and to have a little bit left over to go on vacation, buy something nice for somebody we love, buy something nice for ourselves. We want to have law enforcement that protects and serves everyone, not some people. We want to have timely emergency services. We want to know that our home is safe when we're there and our home is safe when we're not. We want to know that people that are in the CDC and the FDA are certified and are actually giving us good information. We want the drug companies and the oil companies to care about people and not just the bottom line. We want businesses to be consistent in how they treat people and to hire people based on their merits and based on their abilities and not based on what they look like or what they agree with or who they voted for. We all want the same stuff. And when I've had these conversations with people, they said, I would vote for you. Gay, I would vote for you. Straight, I would vote for you. Bi, I would vote for you. White, black, brown, blue, I would vote for you. Cops, I would vote for you. Vets, I would vote for you. Liberals, conservatives, Democrats, and Republicans, and independents, I would vote for you. Because food, clean water, and clean air. Safe neighborhoods. That's reality. I don't see the world through the eye of you don't agree with me, so I don't like you. I don't see the world of you have a different of opinion or you voted for somebody different. I see the world through the lens of if we are all God's children, then which one of us is not worth protecting? And what I saw Saturday, July 13th, 2024, makes me want to run for president even more. Am I crazy, Jason?
You very well might be, but the overall message, I think, for me, what like all the way from the top of president is we need a leader. Our country needs leadership. We need somebody that's going to jump in there and make things safer, make things more affordable. Because right now, everything is so expensive. And, you know, I mean, 4 years ago, maybe I could fill my tank for 20 or 25 bucks. Now it's just not even close to that. 4 years ago, I could go to the grocery store and spend $100 and feed my family for almost a week and a half. Now, if I spend that, you know, it's a couple days. Like, it's difficult out there, man. And we need a leader. We need somebody who's like, hey, I'm going to come in and change things for the better, for you and me, you know, not for the rich or not for the, you know, for everybody that's struggling. That's who needs changes. And that's, you know, who should be looking and going, we need something new. We need something different. Whether it, you know, whether it was even a dude that doesn't have a party affiliation. See, I'm very not political, but even a dude that doesn't have a party affiliation, somebody who wanted to come in and change things for the better.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all. If I was able to vote, that's who I'd be looking for.
You know, and that, you know, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to you shouldn't be voting for someone because your favorite singer said to. You shouldn't be voting for someone because your favorite actor said to. You shouldn't be voting for someone because they have a concert of a person you like to watch before they come out and speak. You shouldn't be voting for someone because they threw out the first pitch somewhere. You should be voting, and this is how you shouldn't be voting for someone because of their gender or because of their color. You should be voting for someone based on the content of their character. Martin Luther King Jr. talked about the content of character. The content of character. And when people say, Dan, I don't like any of the choices, well, that's partially our fault. Because there's primaries that you may not have voted in, and there's things you may have not have done, and there's conversations you may not have had. See, the problem with America is we are responsible, but nobody wants to take responsibility. If you don't like the way that things are, run for office, campaign for somebody, have conversations with family, do a blog, write some testimonials by talking to people, go out into the streets, have conversations. You can't sit idly by and say, man, life isn't the way I want it to be. And again, I come from a household where when we wanted to make a difference, we did it. My mother wanted to challenge herself. She got the job she wanted. She didn't have to lead within that job. She chose to. And when people attacked her, she stayed leading. And when people attacked her again, she stayed leading. My mother never gave up on that. When my father was threatened, he kept coming into the courtroom. When my dad knew that somebody was getting out of jail that he had put in jail, he kept going to the mall. He keeps going to the grocery store. He's not afraid to live his life. I stand next to and sit next to people in arenas all year long that disrespect me. Somebody who said something horrible or stole from me is sitting next to me 2 hours later when we're honoring America. We stand up and we rise and we look at the flag, and that person can't even look me in the eye. So I come from a family where 100% of us have been threatened, abused, disrespected, and told to run. We haven't. So, whether you like Donald J. Trump or not, he didn't run. He didn't run. And I respect...
Right there.
What'd you say?
So that was leadership right there. When he jumped up and did what he did. That's what we need. We need more of that.
Right. And
whether it's from him or somebody else, we need more of that. The enthusiasm.
Right. And we need more togetherness. I don't want us... It wasn't even 48 hours of the assassination attempt, and there were media outlets spreading lies again. And there was people attacking again. And you're sitting here going like, you're supposed to be the party of like justice and kindness and love and respect, and you're like asking people to go try and shoot him again the way it feels. So,
right.
I just feel like, and again, George Washington said this back in the day. He said, do not form political parties. They will divide this country. And I don't think anybody's 100% right. I don't think Democrats are 100% right. I don't think Republicans are 100% right. It's somewhere in the middle. And I just want us to be together. I mean, I remember this one girl was voting for Hillary Clinton. And I was never going to vote for Hillary Clinton. It didn't matter what party she ran in. Hillary Clinton did not take care of upstate New York. She was from Connecticut. She lived in Arkansas. She bought a house in New York State. She bought the house that, whether she lived in it or not, she just had to have it there for a year. She ran in New York State. She did nothing for upstate New York. She disrespected us. She left us for dead. She took care of New York City because that's where the majority of the votes were going to come from. She took care of Long Island. She never took care of us. And my exact quote was, if she cannot take care of one country, I will never trust her with the other 49. And that was my feeling about her. So I wasn't going to vote for her. It didn't matter who ran against her. I wasn't going to vote for her. And I shouldn't say it didn't matter who ran against her. If somebody ran against her who I didn't like either, I would have voted for the independent. And I remember this one girl, I was doing an event, and she was friends with the girl that I was with at the time. And she turned around out of nowhere and started screaming at me. And she's like, oh, your boy, da-da-da-da, you're voting for this, da-da-da-da. And I was like, yo, just because I don't agree with Hillary Clinton in the way that she has done things doesn't mean who I'm going to vote for or not vote for. It means that common sense should always rule the day. And common sense to an upstate New Yorker is when a woman or a man abandons you on day one of their time in office and never comes back to you. Why would you support them to take care of an entire country when they don't care about the hundreds of thousands of people in upstate New York? This is my home. These are my people. They work hard. They're blue collar. They're white collar. We come together. Syracuse and Central and upstate New York, we're no BS. They give all that credit to New York City. Oh, nobody messes with New York. Baby girl, that comes to upstate too. And we are a confident bunch. We are a hardworking bunch. We are a bunch of people you do not want to mess with. And when a politician comes in here and goes, psh, I don't need you guys. I got Long Island. You ain't ever going to come back here and get love from us. And she didn't. But the reality to me is I am not a politically charged person. I am a God charged person. And the only reason why I talk about politics in any sector is because I actually do things. I go to the South Side. I go and speak to kids. And one of the most beautiful moments in my hometown of Syracuse, New York, is when I went to Danforth Middle School. And you go to Danforth Middle School, it's on the south side. It's not that far from the Dome and where Syracuse's football team practices and basketball team and everything. Minutes from there, there's this school. And there's these like black bars on the door. And it looks like you're trying to like get into a jail. I went to speak for a group that was there, the Building Men program. And I walk into this room, and there's kids that are probably anywhere from the ages of 8 to 14. I would say all of them pretty much were African American. And I was asked to speak that day, and I don't write speeches. So, there, what'd you say?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't
Always
write.
best to just speak it, not be looking at cards.
Right. So I don't write speeches because I want to be genuine and I want to say what I'm feeling in the moment. And because I don't write speeches, I just kind of started talking. And I didn't know if anything got through. And like 13 minutes into the speech or whatever, I said, just out of a show of hands, how many of you believe in God? And everybody raised their hand. And I said, okay. And I immediately thought about all of these privileged kids who live in nice houses in nice neighborhoods with a ton of money, whose parents take care of everything, who don't believe in God. And these kids have nothing. So they all raised their hand that they believe in God. And that spoke to me. And I thought to myself, these children don't have reasons to some people to believe in God, but they do. They have the bare minimum in life, yet they believe that there is a maker who created them, who is watching over them, who wants the best for them, who looks out for them, even though their life hasn't necessarily proven that to be such when it comes to money or safe neighborhoods or whatever. Those kids believe. Those kids who have been abused, those kids who hear gunshots in the middle of the night potentially, those kids whose parents couldn't afford groceries 10 years ago, they believe in God. And that spoke to me. Mm-hmm. Because a belief in God is not based on what you have or how much of it you have. A belief in God is not what your bank account shows. A belief in God is not, did I get everything I asked for on my Christmas list? A belief in God is a belief that there is a place that you came from. And I tell people this all the time, whether you believe in God or not, I welcome you to the show. I will agree with a comedian who made the statement of, there's people that believe that God created the universe, and there's people that believe that nothing created the universe. And that is the craziest thing. How can nothing create something? Yeah. So somebody did something at some point. And for people to think that we coincidentally, the universe just appeared out of nowhere on a blank sheet of paper, and the Big Bang Theory ended up working out, and planets didn't fall and they automatically went into orbit, and there was a sun that was able to heat ours enough. We're close enough but far enough away where it's safe, and there was enough water, and there was land, and there was the right temperatures. To think that this is all by chance, and to think that we came from orangutans, yet there's orangutans that exist. So are those just humans that never evolved? I mean, I guess I sit here with logic, rationale, and common sense, and that seems to combat a lot of people in today's America. And when you give them common sense, rationale, and things that, actually sound factual, they scream and they cry. And screaming and crying thank God that those people weren't here during World War II, because we'd be speaking German. And I just wonder why, Jason, and how we became a country where if you disagree with me, you get a trophy. If you cry after you punch me in the face, I have to apologize and tell you my face deserved it. And if my ancestors did something 1,000 years ago, I have to feel bad about it. And if I call you by your name or by whatever, I'm disrespecting you. I guess what I'm saying to you, Jason, is the world had enough problems. Why did we create fake ones?
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of divisiveness, things that are just like keeping everybody apart instead of loving each other. You know, like recently, and this is just kind of off topic, on Instagram, I follow a guy that all his channel is going to feed the homeless. He thinks about those people. That's amazing. He's spreading love. Now imagine if there were 5 people, 10 people, 100 people that did the same thing in their community every day.
Yeah.
Like somebody like that inspires me. Like I went downtown Orlando last weekend for a football game. I'm there for the football game. I'm not even hardly paying attention to anything else. Somebody came up to me for money, and because I followed Josh on Instagram, I was like, I'm going to help this guy today. I gave him money and water. I'm not rich.
Yeah.
I scrape by just like everybody else. But that's a good thing to be inspired to. Is inspired to help your brothers and sisters who need it.
Yeah.
Who knows what he did with the money? Who knows where he was sleeping that night?
Yeah.
That man's got a lot more worries and questions than I do. And I just hope it helped him a little bit. And now I want to start doing more to help those who aren't as fortunate as I am. I'm very fortunate. Super fortunate. Even to just be like lower middle class. Super fortunate. Be able to stay home and do things like this. Very fortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. I mean, to me, God is so good. And when my sub pump went here within the last couple weeks, getting ready to do my show, sub pump goes, water in the basement. Everything is mostly okay. There's a few things in water that are electronic, like there's an Xbox in the water and this and that. And I was like, there's not as much water as there could be. Mm-hmm. Most things aren't damaged. And if I ever thought, do I love what I'm doing still after 20 plus years? I looked at my basement and I went, okay. And then I said, you have a show to do. So whether this stuff is ruined or not, and whether leaving it in the water for a couple hours is good or not, you have a show to do. When that show's over, and you complete the promise that you've given to the people that watch and listen, and to the companies you work with, and to God, and to yourself, then you can go take care of that. All these material things are not more important than the dream that you have. And I got on the air, and I wasn't like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, my stuff. I got on the air, and I was like, oh my God, my faith is stronger today. I believe more in God after I had water in my basement, after I had mold in my basement, after I called the insurance company, after all this stuff that happened. I said, I believe in God more. And that faith doesn't come from anything easy. And 2 years ago, I may have not have reacted that way, but when you believe in God and you feel like you have a purpose and you know what your purpose, everybody's got one. It's not that you feel like you have one, but when you believe in God and you discover your purpose and you chase your dreams and you surround yourself with people that genuinely love you, I have to agree with a country song that says, why are people rushing to get to heaven when it feels so good here? And even in the craziness of life, I feel like I'm lifted up. I feel like I got wings. It's because of you. It's because of Carly and Gracie. It's because of Carter and Heaven. It's because of my parents. It's because of my other brothers. It's because I do what I love. It's because of the businesses that supported me and during COVID supported me. No matter what they were going through when we were all hurting, and COVID affecting them could have affected me and they didn't let it. I am honestly surrounded by people that lift me up, surrounded by dreams and aspirations that lift me up, surrounded by faith that lifts me up. And I'm no longer saying, man, I really want a woman in my life that loves me and I want to have kids. I'm now saying, man, the woman that gets me, that actually appreciates me, she's going to get all the love that I already give to the people that I have. And if she never comes along, then I'm going to keep giving that love to the people that I have. And when she does come along, I'm going to keep giving the love to the people that I have. Because to me, happiness is no longer in the hands of other people and situations and things I want. Love is in the hands of my Maker. Happiness is in the hands of my Maker. And when I wake up every single day and I get to do this, I don't care. You know, do I like that people plagiarize from me? No. Do I like that people steal from me? No. Do I think imitation is the highest form of flattery? No, I think it's being a jerk. And do I appreciate when I have more than proven myself and someone goes, could you prove yourself again? And you're like, are you kidding me? So do I like any of that? Absolutely not. But every day that I open my eyes, I say, God, thank you. And if he gave me another opportunity to do this life thing, I can promise you something. I am going to try and make somebody laugh every day. I'm going to try and make somebody smile every day. I'm going to try and give somebody a reason to believe. I'm going to try and change your thought process to a positive. I am going to create. I'm going to be unique. I'm going to be original. I'm going to be innovative. I'm going to love my dog as my daughter because she is, and Lily means the world to me and more than that. And I am absolutely positively going to keep you all in my prayers. And if you hate my guts and you wish bad on me and you disagree with me and blah, 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 I will promise you something. The devil lives in hypocrisy. The devil lives in double standards. The devil lives in hate. And the devil lives in disagreements. I do not live with the devil. I live with God. And God is the source of my happiness. So whether there's water in my basement or I live in a mansion that's great, whether I get what I want or I don't necessarily get what I want, whether somebody steals from me or somebody doesn't, whether 100 people watch the show, 1,000,000 people watch the show, or 3 people watch the show, I am not burdened by numbers, and I am not burdened by needing to prove. I am uplifted by the fact that I have lived a life in such a way that God has always been at my center, and as many times as I've screwed up, he's surrounded me with love. And I live for the opportunity to help other people. That's the real.
What was that quarterback's name that you were interviewing that one time after the bowl game and ESPN plagiarized it?
The quarterback I was interviewing after the bowl game.
Yep, Syracuse quarterback. He was one of your close guys.
Yeah, so it was Eric Dungy. Actually, the picture from the paper is right there when he cried, and they used the story and said world beater and all that. Yeah, it was on ESPN on their website,
Never forget that.
and I said, "What an amazing response! I wonder what the question was." And the next morning, they didn't give me credit, but the next morning they added in my voice, so you actually heard my voice. But
Okay.
again, like you had told me a long time ago, nobody gets that answer from Dungy because most people are just media people. Where like I would like to think he knows that I care about him. His mom knew that. His dad, who's in heaven, God bless you, Tim. He knew. His brother and sister know. And so, I mean, and I had no idea that his mom, Cindy, I mean, she wrote me a message a few years in and she's like, thank you for what you do. You know, I read your stuff, I watch it. So to me, there was nobody in the room when I asked Eric that question. And that's how I treat media stuff is when I talk to you, I am literally with you and it's you and me. And that's it. And yeah, that moment, I think it was like 700,000 people had seen it, and I wasn't given credit. And then I asked Dabo Sweeney about at the ACC kickoff about his faith in God, and
Yep.
one outlet carried it over to over one outlet had over 1 million people, just one outlet, and I never got credit for that question, and I never got credit for talking to Rex Ryan at camp for the Jets when when Tony Dungy had said something about him. And I remember I applied for a job, and when I applied for a job down in Florida, the guy listened to my tape and he goes, as soon as he heard it, he goes, I know that quote from Rex Ryan. He goes, that was you? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't John Clayton. It wasn't Adam Schefter. It wasn't Fox. It wasn't ESPN's bottom line ticker. My buddy Ross Turetsky, he was tallying and watching the news for me that day, and he told me all the people, all the outlets, everyone that took that quote from Rex Ryan. Schefter reported like he was at Jets camp and he wasn't there.
Right.
So, you know,
Right.
he wasn't even there. And I just,
Right.
and so to me, it's like, and I don't have a problem with Adam Schefter. I just want you to go back in time and do the right thing, Adam. I know that might be tough to ask, but you know, I mean, to me, if it's not my story, it's not my story. And you can see the difference between when I report something and when I report it and it's mine, is I will make it clear. I will say, when I spoke to Eric Dungy, da 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 da. Or if it's a quote that he said, I'll say, when Dungy was speaking to us in the press room, da 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 da. I don't take credit for anybody's work because I have too big of a conscience and I would be literally like ready to vomit until I said, oh, guys, guess what? That wasn't mine. So all I ask the media to do is, you know, just give credit where credit's due. But I said to my dad, I go, how come people in the media treat me like I'm a nobody, treat me like I have leprosy, and they never talk to me when I'm in the same room as them, and they steal from me? So they need me, but they act like I don't exist. And then I thought about it and I said, if you broke into someone's home and stole from them, why would you say hello to them at the grocery store?
I think a lot of the media, they get the word from their producer or their editor, and this is what I want you to go do. You know, this is the angle I want you to take. So you don't do any of that. You don't take angles. And, you know, me coming from the newspaper business a little bit, you know, sometimes they'll want me to take angles on, you know, the team that's from where the paper's at, or you know, go up and ask the coach about one of his players that transferred in from another school and it was kind of sketchy, whatever. You know, and I don't like doing that stuff. I like to build a relationship first before I'm asking any kind of crazy questions.
Yeah.
You're the same way. You like to build a relationship with the guy. You treat them like people because they freaking are.
People, yeah.
They are people. They're not just out, you know, in the world for their football or their basketball or whatever. They're people. Just like you and me, who have problems. And you just sit there and talk to them without the recorder on. And that's how you build relationships, media. Turn your freaking recorder off and talk to the guy or the girl. Have a conversation. Learn who they are. Meet their family. And then suddenly you're going to find another level of respect. coming from them, and you'll get answers like Dan can get because they'll open up if they trust you. If they don't trust you, you're going to get, yeah, no. You're going to get very short answers. Nobody's going to find you very interesting as a journalist.
Well, the thing is, and I've had people at times, fans who don't know any better, I guess, but they'll say, you know, you ask softball questions, you don't ask any hard-hitting questions. And I'm like, you wanted me to ask Jim Boeheim why he doesn't play man-to-man. You wanted me to ask a man who hasn't changed his mind in 4 decades why he hasn't changed his mind, knowing he's going to scream at me and knowing that there's not going to be any answers. So I don't ask him I don't not ask him out of fear. I don't ask him because that's his decision and that's his choice. And I've heard his responses, and he was willing to die on that mountain. And I've always said to myself, you never ask a question that you know the answer to. And that's why how does it feel to win a game doesn't come out of my voice, because that's stupid. And how does it feel to lose a game? And, you know, just, and you can tell. And the funny thing is, and I give credit to the athletes and the coaches that do this. There are people that they clearly know. They know who you are. If you don't think that they know who you are, they know who you are. Fran Brown has not coached a single game at Syracuse. He's figured out a bunch of us already. And people think, oh, I got him. You ain't got him. Because people that are honest, God-fearing, I'm going to tell you something about someone who believes in God. God will show you everyone's true colors. Whether or not you want to see it, whether or not you ask to see it, I tell people in my life, I dare you to do something behind my back, because I promise you that God will bring it to my forefront. He always brings it to my doorstep. God, without question, I could be doing nothing. I could be sitting at home watching Boy Meets World reruns, and God will be like, hey, guess what? People have talked about me and texted me by accident. People have talked about me and called me by accident and thinking that they're calling this other person. I've gone to a public place with thousands upon thousands of people and bumped into people that went behind my back. So to me, when you believe in God and God is your savior and God is your everything, there is not a single thing that is done in the dark that God does not bring to the light. And when we look at NIL and transfer portal and all this stuff going on in the me world that we live in, and people go, well, how are you going to get interviews? You're not ESPN, you're not Fox, how are you going to talk to people? And I say to people, I go, when you are honest, you can't fake it. When you love people, you can't fake it. When you care about people, you can't fake it. And when you're about the relationship more than you're about the story, you can't fake it. I will always be relevant in my career and out of my career because I serve a God with honesty, care, love, justice, and truth. And there is nothing that will ever defeat the ability to build a relationship that is real. And when you do that, nobody can stop you.
Exactly right. Nothing to add to that. That's exactly right. Build the relationship, and nothing can stop you as a journalist, but in life too. It's a lot about who you know. Building relationships with people, can get you into a job or open a door that you never even realized could get open. And just by a phone call or a hello or a handshake or whatever. It all starts somewhere.
And I looked at this, or I heard this last night, and it rang so true to me. Everything that I've dealt with the media and with bullies in life in general since I was a kid. They attack you because you're good at your job. Never let them stop fighting. So much said in 2 sentences. And I have to give credit to who said it was Sarah Huckabee Sanders. They attack you because you're good at your job. They attack you for something that you think is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Never let them stop fighting. Don't seek for the bully to stop. Continue to do the best that you can do. And it doesn't say stop them from screaming, stop them from trying to throw haymakers, stop them from freaking out, losing their minds, stop them from saying stuff on social media, stop them from saying stuff to the public, stop them from trying to discredit you, slander, and libel. This thing says they don't like you and come after you because you're good, not because you suck. They tell you suck so that you'll quit. But nobody in life attacks, goes after, threatens someone that is not a threat to them. So if you are receiving a lot of hate mail for chasing your dreams and doing it with love and God and goodness in your heart, what do they say? If you do it with a pure heart and good intentions, understand something about life, folks. If you are being threatened for doing good, you are doing something right. It's confusing, but the older I get, the more I realize the God I believe in had his son stoned, spit on, crown of thorns, carry a cross, whipped, beaten, yelled at, nailed to a cross, left in the sun to shrivel up and die. And that was the right direction. So if you're doing good and you feel like you're being persecuted, if you're doing good and you feel like you're being put down and challenged and disrespected and hated, as crazy as it sounds, you're moving in the right direction.
Exactly right.
So with that being said, Mr. Lucas, before we hop out of here today, football season's on its way.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner. Next week, I will be unleashing upon the world so many one-on-one conversations. You talk about building relationships that are going to put that front and center. I am ecstatic about all of the wake-up call spotlight broadcasts you will see inside of the Heritage Hill Studios coming to you all next week. And they will be featuring the American Athletic Conference and the Atlantic Coast Conference. I will be at AAC Media Days in Arlington, Texas. And I will be at ACC Media Days in Charlotte, North Carolina. There's a lot happening next week. And you are going to have so much to watch and listen to, folks. And I will be doing more while you're doing that. Because college football is going to be back in about 15 minutes. And the NFL is going to be back in about 16 minutes. What are your thoughts, brother?
Man, I'm kind of focused on week 1 of the NFL season. Our teams are playing each other opening day.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. UCF's got a couple cupcakes in the first 2 weeks, so I expect some wins and easy wins and all that. But, kind of focused on that September 8th, Jacksonville coming to Miami.
Yeah, and I love those Jacksonville, Tampa, Miami, Tampa, or Jacksonville, Miami, and all that stuff. I love seeing that. I'm really excited about it. You're a fan of Tua. I'm a fan of Tua. And I'm obviously a Jaguars fan in the comfort of my own home. But it's going to be a really good game. And I'm really looking forward to this season. There's a chance, I think, in Week 14, knock on wood, hopefully, Aaron Rodgers is coming to Jacksonville. And, yeah, there's a lot of excitement. The Jaguars are playing a lot of rookie quarterbacks and second-year quarterbacks this year. So that's interesting in and of itself. But yeah, I mean, the NFL, man, we're going to see it in Brazil. First regular season game in Brazil ever. It's a Friday night game. We're going to see 2 Jaguars games in London, 1 home, 1 away, just like we did last year. No team's been to London more. And there's so much going on. Who do you think is the biggest dark horse of the 32 NFL franchises this season to win? And who do you think is the biggest balloon team that you don't think is going to win? So who's that dark horse that people may not be giving credit to that you think is going to have a good season? And who's that team where you're like, there is so much hoopla, but I just don't get it?
Oh boy, they're in your division, Houston. Yeah, I think Houston's got a shot to be really good. They added Diggs from Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think they got a shot to be really good. I mean, that AFC South is, not great. I think Houston's got a shot. And then conversely, I think Buffalo's a team that everybody's been high on the last few years, and they're going to struggle this year.
Yeah.
I think Josh Allen's going to have a down year. He doesn't have Diggs. Gabe Davis is now in Jacksonville. I don't know what they're going to do throwing the ball wise. And, Josh is going to have to run it a lot and try not to turn it over as much. And I don't think he's going to be successful at that.
Yeah, I would say to you that I agree. I'm going to pick 2 different teams because I want to, expand the conversation. But I think Houston's extremely dangerous, and I'm a big fan of C.J. Stroud. I'm a big fan of Will Anderson Jr. I'm a fan of the fact that they brought in Joe Mixon because they've kind of just had this plethora of running backs trying to figure it out. We'll see if Stephon Diggs is a good addition or if it's a why the hell did you do that addition, which I am leaning toward the latter. But I do hope the best for him and the team. And so, I mean, I would say Houston is a dark horse. But to pick another team, I would say like a dark horse that people might not have on their radar. I'm running through a bunch in my head right now, and I'm saying no. There's one that I kind of want to pick, but I also don't. So I'm going to actually say there's 2. I think that Miami could be a dark horse. I think that Buffalo, I think their window may have... I'm not confident that Buffalo is going to make the Super Bowl this year. And I think Miami is a very dangerous team when they're healthy. And so I am going to say Miami is a dark horse to make the playoffs and be dangerous. I also think Baltimore. I mean, people forget that Baltimore has all of this power, and they brought in Derrick Henry because for some odd reason, when you're 30 years old, you're trash as a running back. And this man is...
Baltimore can't be a dark horse.
What'd you say?
Baltimore can't be a dark horse.
Well, I think
they're a favorite.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to say Miami, and I'm going to pick... I'm
the
gonna,
Bengals or something.
And I'm also going to... You know what? I'm going to say, like, Green Bay's got a little flavor to them. So I'm going to give
I do like Jordan Love, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to give Green Bay a little flavor to be a dark horse. The team that I think is ballooned that I don't buy into the hype. You picked Buffalo. I don't think you're wrong. But I'm going to say team whose hype I don't buy into right now. Oh, this one's tough. Because I'm like, I mean, I buy into Kansas City. So
there's a powerhouse falling apart out west, you could say.
Yeah, I mean, there's a thought to me. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with the thing that came to my mind. I'm not very confident that San Francisco
there it
is going to be they might not make the playoffs this year. And
they might not.
And so I think that there's a rise in Green Bay and there's a fall in San Francisco. And Anthony Campbell at GG Cards and Breaks, I know that you're going to want to fight with me right now, and I love you to pieces. But I don't. My knee-jerk reaction was San Francisco, so I'm going to say San Francisco. And it was also Buffalo, but you said Buffalo. So college football-wise, we're expanding to 12, which means there'll be 6 SEC teams. But now
Only 6?
But now that we're expanding to 12, maybe 7. But now that we're expanding to 12 teams here in the college football playoff, my question to you is, outside of, because it's 5 plus 7, what that means is the 5 highest ranked conference champions, and there's 9 conferences, so 5 out of the 9, and then the 7 are at large. So my question to you is, what conference that is not named the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, and the ACC, which one of those remaining 5 conferences do you believe their champion will make it to this year's college football playoff in 2024-25? So tell me the conference, and who is your favorite to win the expanded playoff?
Wow. Okay. That's deep, because it's a different question than it used to be. Who do I think is going to survive 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Possibly 4 weeks if you're a lower seed. I think the Americans always been that, that outsider. The
Yeah.
Memphis, the Tulane now is actually much better than they ever were.
Yeah.
I don't know though, man. Gosh. It's hard to pick preseason the teams that you just haven't seen what they're going to be yet.
Yeah.
Like I could tell you, I think Oregon's going to be really good, and I think they're going to be favorite. I've heard Dylan Gabriel's the Heisman favorite already preseason. I don't disagree with it.
Yeah.
Big arm kid, like a Memphis, a Tulane, a FAU. FAU's had some good years too. You never know. You just don't know with the smaller teams. Not smaller teams. I hate to even say that because UCF just came from there. But the lesser known teams, you don't necessarily know what they're going to be until you've seen them for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And of course, with the transfer portal, it's hard to make any they should almost really get rid of the preseason rankings, because it's really hard to say who anybody's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm excited for UCF, but our quarterback's brand new. KJ Jefferson's a brand new dude at UCF. We're really excited about it, but yes, sir. Yep. But, it may or may not work out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, the matchups aren't easy. Got to go to Florida, got to go to West Virginia, got to go to TCU. So it's not going to be an easy road. If UCF gets in the playoff, that would be probably well-deserved.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of talent as far as I can see, but, it's got to all come together, too.
Yeah, my pick for a potential champion, I think Georgia, despite any change and whatnot, I think they're a team that is just ripe right now. They're always fresh. And so I'd put them there. Dylan Gabriel, you and I know him well enough. And him being at Oregon, there's something to be said about that. And I don't think the Big Ten's that good. So, Michigan and Ohio State, it must be nice to play no one ranked for 11 out of 12 weeks until you play each other. And you're only ranked high because someone's decided to take care of you all season. So, that's nice. When the SEC wins things, they've earned it. When the Big Ten wins things, it's because they played a bunch of unranked teams, and there was one season that Ohio State played, what was it? They played like 8 home games.
They played 5 games that COVID season.
Yeah, and they changed the rules
And
because
stuck them in there anyway.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to make the Big Ten championship because they had to play 6 games. They took Northwestern out. They put Ohio State in. And then they made sure that Ohio State had all their players healthy to play in the college football playoff semifinal. So, I mean, I've said it a million times here on the show. I only speak facts. It has nothing to do with the Big Ten. It has nothing to do with Michigan or Ohio State. It has to do with things that are double standards, like we talked about earlier. And it just so happens that Ohio State, Michigan, and the Big Ten in general has been on the right side of a double standard. So now that you have to play Oregon and Washington and USC and UCLA, I'm not concerned about UCLA right now. USC, a little. Oregon, yeah. Washington, probably. But, they don't have Michael Penix Jr. anymore. So when I look at the Big Ten, you now have to face competition. Uh-oh. And I think Oregon's the biggest competition that they're going to have to face. So I think Oregon's got a real shot. And I'm excited to see what they do. I think Oregon, I think Georgia, those are the teams I'm kind of looking to. Florida State, I know they don't have Jordan Travis anymore, but Florida State, a little dark horse. And then
a lot of that defense is going too.
Yeah, but and then when it comes to who's going to make it as an automatic bid outside of the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, and the ACC, I think it's going to be the American. I think the American, and here's the thing, it's really hard to pick. And the great thing about the American is every year somebody different wins. And that shows you how good their conference is. When it's like, oh, well, that means that they don't have a powerhouse. It's like, no, it means they beat the hell out of each other. It's like the Big East. Big East doesn't have the same champion from year to year in basketball. They're always beating the hell out of each other. So UTSA, Tulane, UAB, Rice is getting better. Memphis won't stay down for long. There's a lot to be said about this conference of the American Athletic, and I would love to see them in an automatic bid. So I'm going to pick them to be in it. I do respect other conferences, and I do think the Sun Belt's got some talent there, but I think the American has more within the entire scope of the conference than the Sun Belt has from top to bottom. So that's why I'm picking the American. It's not just because I cover them. I just think they have more. I think in the Sun Belt, you look to Appalachian State and Coastal Carolina and James Madison now. So I think that there's certain ones you look at, but when you're in the American, you're like, oh, East Carolina's not good. And then they start winning and you're, oh, Temple struggles. And then they went in. So I feel like there's a lot to be said about that conference in the American. And I've also covered it for over a decade, and a lot of people speak on the conference that don't pay attention. So, because if they did, they would be defending it and not laughing at it. So I'm going to say the American. But final question, Jay Bird, you get it. So do you have a final college or pro note that you would like to make with us here this morning?
The Dolphins are coming for all you guys. We're going to go win the Super Bowl this year. And we are not a dark horse. We are strong and we are powerful. We're coming for the AFC first, and then we're going to go to the Super Bowl. And I'm going to be broke by the end of it because I'm going to have to pay for all these home playoff games.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I'm hoping that the Jaguars make it back to the playoffs. I'm excited about what's to come. I'm looking forward to the season, and I'm looking forward to hopefully a healthy offensive line and a good mashup of players there. And I know those guys are working hard. Excited for the contract extensions of Foye Oluokun and Josh Allen. And, of course, for Trevor Lawrence, our leader, 6'6", behemoth of a player and consummate professional. And shout out to him and his wife, who are expecting their first baby. So a lot of good stuff. And to Pat Mahomes and his wife that are expecting their next baby. So a lot of good stuff coming up here. Jay Bird, as always, I love you. Love to you and the family.
Love you, buddy.
To my nieces, to my nephew in heaven. And thank you for spending time today talking about the more important stuff.
Love you, buddy. Love each other, everybody.
Love you, man. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
See you. That coming from Jason Lucas, sports and entertainment vet here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, telling you to love each other. Love everyone, everybody, all the time, right? We don't have to agree with each other, but let's break some bread together and let's start treating each other the way we want to be treated. We'll take a step aside, final step aside, inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. We'll be back right after this. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the taste of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare it to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. They are right off of Teal Avenue, and they're with you every Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. They have what you need in the sports card world and the hobby card collecting world as well. Disney Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, as well as baseball, football, basketball, soccer, hockey, all sport, AEW, UFC, and they're the only sports card and collecting card shop that I know of that has every MLB team, every NBA team, and every NFL team. So make sure you get yourself out to GG Cards and Breaks. Experience the difference today. I am so very thankful for all that they do. And it starts with Josh and Anthony and goes throughout the entire team. I appreciate their work. I appreciate their professionalism, and I appreciate the fact that they care about the sports card world, that they care about our community. They do our trade nights here in the community. We just had another great one at the Wildcat Sports Pub. So when you support GG Cards and Breaks, you're supporting great people in a great community that we all call home. It's more than sports cards. It's more than trading cards. Head out there today, be a big kid, bring somebody with you, and have some fun on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, we appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hanging out with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And I want to thank Mya Jackson for our special today, celebrating her, our exclusive special with Mya as she joins the staff for Nick DiPillo on site on the Heights at Moyne College as a member of the coaching staff and assistant coach with the Moyne College Dolphins team. So very happy for her and very excited for her. And love the fact that we got to tell her story today. And Jason Lucas, fantastic human being, just a good guy, and appreciate him so very much. I love the fact that he was here to have an honest conversation this morning, a conversation that needs to be had that a lot of people are afraid to have. And if we say that we're in a land of freedom, we shouldn't be afraid to have conversations that people disagree with. What is in the First Amendment? Freedom of speech. So if we're afraid to talk when we're respecting each other, being kind to each other, not swearing at each other, not yelling at each other, because people misconstrue freedom of speech as the freedom to treat people with evil and hate, and that is not. There's no freedom of hate, and there's no freedom of evil. There's freedom of speech. And in freedom of speech, we should have every right in our country to speak our mind without fear of something happening. And if we have a fear of that, then it's not really a free country. So remember that when you're having conversations with people. It's important to me to have these conversations. It's important to me to work together. And it's important to me to love each other, even when we're different. So thank you for listening and watching today as we attempt to make this country, this world, and humanity better by the grace of God, by the love of God, and the forgiveness of God. Thank you, Mya. Thank you, Jason. And thank you for watching and listening all around the world, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Big time thanks to all of you that have found us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Podchaser.com, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And of course, a big time thanks to our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York: Heritage Hill Brewhouse, Heritage Hill North, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Brian's Landing, Ma and Pa's, Mother's Cupboard, Great Lakes Honda City, Pizza Man, GG Cards and Breaks, and Servomation Refreshments, revitalizing and reimagining what it's like to go into your break room and grab some food from a vending machine, the espresso, the coffee makers, the opportunity to walk into a college or university area for vending, or to be at your business or your office for vending, and to have water that has fresh fruit come out of the machine. The technology is amazing. The opportunities are amazing. The fact that I went into the kitchen and toured their kitchen, their massive kitchen where they're making this food that is going into these machines for you, to see everything that they do, it has given me a totally different view on the sandwiches and the food in general that comes out of a vending machine, as well as what you can get and the high quality of it. Servomation Refreshments is making a difference, and I appreciate what Brian Bruno and his team are doing. We're also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your...
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard.
Moyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Dolphins Wednesdays, like today during Dolphin Time, and I appreciate them so very much. Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, telling the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You can get it all on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the Moyne playlist on our YouTube channel, as well as go to wakeupcalldt.com, find Moyne logo and link on our homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab for more information. Go to LeMoyneDolphins.com and fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bobcats in what we call the Bobcat Buzz, spotlighting a fantastic and very unique institution that gives you an opportunity to return to or play for the first time in the world of collegiate athletics. If you have that eligibility, there's opportunities at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse for those to return to college as well as those to go for the first time. Awesome job placement, and when it comes to men's and women's soccer, national championship caliber teams, and men's and women's basketball have been to the national tournament, which is going to be in Buffalo this year, which I'm very excited about, moving from Richmond, Virginia. And of course, a big ups to baseball going into year 3 under Sean Peak, and the addition of esports getting some legs here with Connor Carroll, their head coach. You can find both of their campuses, James Street in Syracuse, and also right off of Route 57 in Liverpool across from Avicoli's. The Bobcat Buzz is found on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the BSC Syracuse playlist. You also find your Bobcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You will find Binghamton every Tuesday during Bearcat time at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Moments with Marshall features Gene Marshall, the Binghamton University Athletics Director, giving us a behind-the-scenes look at Binghamton, the Bearcats, and what's to come. The Bearcat Break Room with stories from student athletes, coaches, and administration, and awesome stories being told, including this week, Annette Acuff joining us, the head cross-country coach and assistant track and field coach, speaking on Emily Mackay making it to the 2024 Paris Olympics and giving us plenty of background on Emily's story, as well as recruiting and finding incredible talent in the neighborhood of Binghamton University. And big time shout out to all the Bearcats are doing. You'll find them on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and make sure that you find our Binghamton playlist there. You'll also find the Bearcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to bubearcats.com and go Bearcats. Once again, thanks to Mya Jackson. Thanks to Jason Lucas. Thank you to you for hearing me out and not shutting us off and listening to me talk about humanity, our country, and how we all need to just stop being angry and look at the beautiful things that are being done. And for someone to survive an assassination attempt, God has to be looking kindly on your soul. So God bless to Donald Trump and his family. And no matter who you're voting for, who I'm voting for, whoever's voting for, I pray for every family, especially a family that almost lost a husband, a father, a grandfather, a brother, and a friend. Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. Let's be better people. And to echo Jason Lucas, let's love everyone, not just some of us. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. Thank you for watching and listening. Take that stress out of your life and always do your best.